Hey, I'm Marc Graves with Courtyard Realty, where my job is to be your guide. And we're out here at Heather Farms, the home of the Aquabears. World-renowned, in my opinion, synchronized swimmers, aqua dancers. I'm not sure exactly what the right phrase is. My kids didn't do that, but it's still fun to watch. Those outside extracurricular activities have been the meat and potatoes of a lot of children and a lot of adult, for that matters, participation in things, especially academics. So we're going to talk a little bit about interest rates today and how that affects your purchase power. So in essence, if you were going to buy a $700,000 house and values just happen to get away from you, now they're at $800,000. Interest rates are so low right now that it's as if you're buying an $800,000 house and paying $700,000 pricing. I talked earlier, and it was how terms of the loan are widening and getting more palatable, congenial, friendly, looser. I talked about super jumbo money with a 90% loan to value. That's super aggressive. You combine that with a 6 5/8 or 3.625 interest rate, and the payment is astronomically lower than if it was at a historic low interest rate of 5 or 6 at one time. Was just phenomenal. I mean, 10 was a good interest rate at one particular time. And we're in the 3s for super jumbo money. Interest rates are so attractive that real estate is one of the largest stimuluses for our economy, that it's designed that way. It wasn't haphazard, just didn't sort of organically materialize. It's done with purpose in mind. It feeds many, many different industries and many different sources of income. All right, so with that said, interest rates are phenomenally low, terms are extremely wide. Typically, interest rates are divided into basis points. There's 100 basis points to 1%. So there's 100 pennies to a dollar. So if somebody says it's 45, the interest rates went up 45 basis points, it went up just under 0.5%. And in days gone by, we used to move in eighths. So it would be 0.125 would be an eighth, 0.250 would be a quarter, 0.375 would be 3/8, 5 would have been a half, 625 would have been 5/8, 0.750 would have been 3/4, and 875 would have been 7/8. And then of course you move into the next number up or down. Basically, it just replicates going up to 0.5%, and then the same way going to a full percent. Anyway, I don't know, that's probably too dry. Interest rates are phenomenally low. Appreciation is on an upward trajectory, so prices are going up. It just makes it phenomenally easy for the whole buying process. When a home is sold, all the people that built it do well. All the people that did the logistics, getting the materials from the manufacturer to the distributor, the manufacturer of the wood, of the nails, of the fixtures, of the doors, of the door handles, of the chicken wire, of the lath and plaster, everything that goes involved. All those industries do well. All the insurances, all the car insurances that provide safety for the trucking, all the title insurances to provide safety for the records, so that you know what you're buying isn't been bought and sold to somebody else before you, that your property is on the lot that you think it is. So the surveyors, it's just the peripherals are a lot of tentacles out there. So when the housing market is doing well, so many industries are doing well. And when so many industries are doing well, then luxury purchases do better. So if you are a trucker and you're making great money, you might want to buy a boat, a bass boat, a Lamborghini, I don't know, a diamond ring, expensive shoes, better quality of meat. You want lobster tonight, crab. Well, you drove back and forth a lot of stuff and you made a lot of money. So now you get to eat well. They have so many things, and it's by design. We're scheduled to look really, really attractive for interest rates for probably conservatively the next 9 months. Anything could happen, all the way to optimistically like me for 18 months. You know, just let me say, with all of that said, I realize that nobody has a crystal ball and that things could be much different. But the building blocks are in place. And what I call attractive might not be what everybody calls attractive. I can remember thinking to myself, oh my gosh, if I could get those 7.25% interest rates that I see on notes and deeds of trusts, I could have that same caliber of house that I saw in Oakley, in Concord, for the same price, because interest rates were at 10 and housing prices were under $200,000 for a quality 1,500 square foot, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or 4-bedroom, 2-bath. Anyway, I just remember having that perspective and thinking, wow, if you were gonna buy a house 2 or so years ago, you might have been looking at the same type of payment for a $600,000 house today as you would have been looking at a $750,000 house then. And there's some flexibility in there and things, you know, the higher the purchase price, the more you pay in taxes. It's a modest amount in fire insurance or mortgage, anyway, housing insurance. But with that said, it just becomes easier and easier to afford more and more. So while prices are going up, you're still able to buy more. It's like I was telling somebody that we were going to bring into the business. I said, if you were going to make time and a half of your yearly gross income, but you were going to do 2 times the amount of work, but you were going to enjoy the job thoroughly, you weren't really going to spend any more hours doing it, maybe a few, but relatively few more hours, and you were just gonna do all the parts of your job that you liked the best, and all the parts of your job that you weren't as wild about, you no longer were gonna have to do. But unit price, you were gonna get paid less, but you were gonna do so much more in units that you are going to be able to have time and a half. So if you made 100 grand, you're gonna make 150. If you got paid 50 basis points, you're gonna get paid 30 basis points. But all of a sudden, you're gonna be doing it on 200 units versus 125 units. If you couldn't see how that would impact your life, you might not wanna do it. But if you had just the smallest amount of vision, and you could see how that would affect your day-to-day spirit growth and ability to just breathe easy, I think it's a no-brainer. And that's what's happened with interest rates. You're able to now elevate to that dream property. I don't care if you went from a 1-bedroom, 1-bath shack dream property to a 2-bedroom, 1-bath shack dream property. It's still 33% more property. If it was a dream at a 1-bedroom, it's a bigger dream at a 2. If it was a 3,500 square foot house in a prestigious gated community in Walnut Creek for 1.9 million or 2.4, but now it's 2.1 or 2.6, but it costs the same or even maybe less, it's a no-brainer. It's how does it affect your life and your spirit of where you're at. So with that said, I'm Marc Graves, Courtyard Realty, where my job is to be your guide, and this is the Marc Graves Perspective.